Hello, this video is to show you how to make an ed plan if you are transferring and using Assist. So for this sample plan, I have Joe Mounty here. Oh, whoops, let's change this. He has a goal of transferring using Assist. So here we go. And put this little box back. There we go. Okay. So transfer using Assist, major economics, transfer school UC Irvine, GE sheet is IGETC. Did he take any AP tests? No. Is this the first semester in college? Yes. Will you be working? No. What number of units do you want to take? Okay. So here we have the fall in progress classes, and we're going to fill in. We already know that you met the prereq for everything because you're enrolled in them, right? So let's look at the steps. Fill in the top of the form, we did that. All right, now 2 and 3, decide the number of units, we did that. Okay, so now let's look at 3 and 4. Cross off the requirements you've completed, look at your transcripts and your major and GE patterns. Cross off the classes you've already completed. Find common classes, look at your major list and your GE list. Are there any classes that appear on both? If yes, consider choosing those classes. All right, so let's do those 2 steps together. So Joe has only been here 1 semester, so these classes are the only ones he would need to check. He wants to go to UC Irvine, so we're going to go to assist.org and pick out Mount SAC and Irvine. And now we're going to go down to major, and you can just scroll or you can actually, here we go, econ. So let's look at the classes. Okay, so on this side are the UC Irvine classes, on this side are the Mount SAC classes. We know that he's going to need a micro course or in economics, a macro course in economics, and 2 semesters or quarter of approved first year calculus. So we see econ, calc. Let's just scroll down to see what else there is. All right, one of these. Oh, it says 2. Choose 2 introductory social sciences. So we see anthropology, geography, poli-sci, psychology, so we've got a lot of things to choose from here. And then these classes we can't take at Mount SAC. You have to take them after you transfer. Okay. So now we've got an idea of his major courses that are required. Now let's go over here and look at the IGETC. So the IGETC is the GE pattern for a UC. It also works for Cal States. If you're planning to go to a Cal State and do Assist, you can use the Cal State GE pattern or this one. All right, so let's look and see what he needs. All right, we see there's Area 1, Group A, English 1A. Okay, we've already got that class. So we're going to put the type of class here. We're going to put Area, or we could do GE 1A, because it's Area 1, Group A. All right, so we have that one. We still need critical thinking, and if we wanted to have an option of going to a Cal State, we would need speech. All right, math, we actually have an overlap in math, right? Because this one wants calculus, and calculus is here. So we want to not pick statistics or another class that you don't need. You want to pick something that's going in the direction of what you need. So there's a double counter right there. All right, we've got arts. Okay, so we actually have an art class done. Music 15. So we can mark that one as finished. So that's Area 3. So we're going to put GE 3 arts. Okay. All right, then we have humanities here. And I noticed a lot of these classes listed are social sciences, so we'll probably have plenty of social sciences. So I'm going to count History 7 as a humanities. So up here, I'm going to do GE 3. I'll just put hum for humanities. All right, so I still need one more course out of either of these areas, because it says 3 units from one course from arts, one course from the humanities, and then one course from either one. I said 3 units, 3 courses minimum. All right, let's move along. All right, here's social and behavioral sciences. So look, I see economics is here. I see history. I see political science and psychology. A bunch of these classes I can tell are going to double count in the social and behavioral sciences. So I don't want to pick these at random. I want to pick a class that will double count for both. All right. Here is the sciences. I'll still need a physical science and a biological science. For the UC, a foreign language proficiency is required. You could have done 2 years of high school foreign language to meet that requirement. Or you could be fluent because maybe you just learned another language growing up. That would also count if you can take a test and prove that you know the language. Or you can take one of these classes. Cal State's like you to take a U.S. history and U.S. government. I'm planning to go to a UC right here, so I don't necessarily need to do that, but I could keep it in mind. All right, so we notice Counseling 5 on IGETC, it's not on there. It's also not on the major sheet. So we're going to call this an elective. And sadly, it doesn't even transfer to a UC. Bummer, but that's okay. All right, so now we've done step 2 and 3. So let's go back, or I'm sorry, 3 and 4. We figured out which classes we've completed. We found our common classes. So now we want to plan math and English. So, math, we need calculus. But here's the thing. If you took calculus in high school or pre-calc, then you might have placed into calculus. But if you don't place into calculus, the highest class that you can take would be Math 150. So I'm going to put him in Math 150. And then Math 160 is pre-calc, so I'll put that in the spring. 160. And I'm going to go over to the catalog. To find what the prereqs are. So here is math. These are just the classes. So when I look, I can look at Math 180 here, and I see it has a prereq of Math 160. That has a prereq of Math 150. And Math 150, as long as you do the AQ, you should be able to enroll in Math 150. So that's 3 units. And I know we meet the prereq because anyone who does the AQ can take Math 150. All right, so now if we look though, Math 150 is not on this list. It does transfer, it's a transferable math to Cal State's, but not UC's. So I'm going to put this, and I'm going to put prereq, because I'm taking it so that I can get into another math. And then Math 160, let's look, that one is 4 units. And even though it doesn't meet the major requirement, it actually does meet the GE requirement. So I can put GE, area 2 for mathematics. All right. They said to plan math and English. Whoops. I don't know how everything disappeared. Put them back up. Okay. So, I think now we want to do, it says, now that we've planned math and English, plan major classes, and for transfer students, consider scheduling critical thinking and speech for your first year because they're Golden 4 classes. So let's start with some major classes. We can go back over to our assist report. So we know econ is very important. I need a B in it or better. It says up here, you must have a B or better. So I'm going to put in business C 1A. And I'll put that in the spring. All right, and that is 3 units. And it is a major class because it's on assist. But I remember when we were looking at our GE, it was also under area 4. Because look, here's business 1A, principles of economics. So that's also a GE area 4. Okay, let's see if there's another major class we might want to do. We're working on the math. It says we can pick 2 introductory courses. So looking at this, I'm going to pick, let's see. I'm going to pick psychology 1A. And you see these little ors, that's just because there's an honors class. They're like take Anth 1 or Anth 1 honors. Take Anth 5 or Anth 22. These are very similar courses. So any of these would be good for me. So I'm going to pick Psych 1A. And that is a 3-unit class. And that is going to be a major class because it's on assist. But I also know that Psych 1A is here on area 4. So I'm going to put major GE 4. All right. So now I've picked a couple of major courses. I remember it also said I might want to consider critical thinking. Right? For transfer, consider scheduling critical thinking and speech. I'm planning to go to UCI, so I don't need speech, but I think I might take it in the summer, me pretending to be Joe Mounty. So I'm going to prioritize critical thinking instead of speech because that's more important for a UC. So here I have a choice between English 1C, Philosophy 9, or Engineering 1C. So I'm going to just take English 1C. That's 4 units, and it is a GE 1, area 1, B. Okay, so now looking at my units here, I've got 13, whoops, here I've got 3, and here I've got 14. Yeah, it's a little high, but I think I can handle it. Yep, 12 to 14 units, I'm still in my range. Okay, so let's see what I do next. All right, we chose G. So GE classes, some of you might already have a lot of these classes that we talked about finished. So you could also fill in with GE classes that you need. All right, now check that I meet the prereqs. So I'm going to go back here to the catalog. And let's look at these classes. So we know I meet the prereqs for math. We already looked at those. Let's now look at business. So you can just go to the A to Z index for courses to find them. So business econ is right here. Okay, business econ, you need eligibility for English 1A, got that. And then successful completion of Math 71 or higher. Well, now everybody places it higher than this, so we don't even have to worry about that. So do I meet this prereq? Yes, I do. And then if we look here, notice that Business 1B, Econ, the Econ Part 2, you have to take Econ Part 1 first. So it's good we didn't schedule both of those this semester. All right, now let's check Psych 1A. A to Z index. Let's see, psychology. All right, I clicked on something weird here. Catalog A to Z. We want the psychology classes. Here we go. Look for the little initials. Okay, Psych 1A, prereq, eligibility for English 1A, advisory, eligibility for Read 100, but that's just advice. They won't stop you from enrolling. So do we meet the prereq? Yes, we do. All right, and now let's go back to courses A through Z and check English. Oops. Let's go back. English. And we see English 1C has a prereq of English 1A, which we're in right now. So we got that. All right, so we checked all our prereqs. Lost everything again. There we go. All right, so let's go back to the list. Check we made the prereqs. All right, check your work. Make sure you included all necessary information, including labeling each course, correct number of units, if you meet the prereqs. All right, we filled this out. Transfer using assist, econ, I get C, no, yes, no. All right, all these are filled out. All the prereqs are filled out. The type of course is filled out. Okay, we did it. We are ready to submit.